Here we have the market garden. This was my old sand arena that we covered in turf. It's 20 metres by 40 metres. That makes it 800 square metres. This was on the back end of the 4 years that we didn't have summer rain, and the turf just eventually died. To the left, that's all my experimental area where I was trying out the horse compost and whether it was viable for me to actually be able to use the small arena for what I wanted with growing food. This arena is made up of 120 mil of sand underneath the turf, and then there'll be 100 mil of the imported soil on top of that within the beds. So it's quite a good size and it's very workable, I think, for a market garden.
Hi folks, just an update. We've had 300 mil today, but Mark was an absolute legend and brought down the 45 cubic metres of compost and the round bales, and I got some seedlings and some bigger plants off Jez from Jez Seedlings, just outside of Brisbane. But of course I'm aiming to plant in that corner. I'll just pop on. So I'm going to try and do it manually today with the wheelbarrow and just get the outside, which is going to be 2.4 metres wide, and I'm going to run it round the whole arena, and then there'll be separate beds in the middle. So I was hoping that the bobcat would be able to do that, but as you can see it's all pretty wet down here and we're still getting constant showers as well.
So this was after a full year of rain, and you can see the native species of grasses, lots of diverse range of grasses all sprouted up on their own. The big heap of imported soil is now a bush turkey nest. You can see I've got the water tanks there, and a few months later it's really got very overgrown and really needs to be mowed, but I haven't been able to get the tractor down because it's been too wet. And there's my Mr. Bush Turkey there, digging and moving whatever he can to make his nest as grand as he wants it to. Brilliant mini water cycle happening with all this photosynthesizing grass. Lots of insects as well, ground cover. Now, this was my plan, to have the garden beds going from south to north. And as I turn around, you'll see that I was wanting to put them on the diagonal, but it was just going to be too hard to upkeep. And there's due north. Here is the plan that I drew up, and I included 3 arms plus the bed that went all the way around the outside. Now, as it was, when I actually physically laid the beds down, I could only fit in 2 arms. I had to leave room here because there was a gate, and I'm just leaving the south side of the arena for now and concentrating, setting everything up in the north end. As you can see, well, maybe not because it's a bit overgrown, but that's the outside garden bed, and then this is one of the arms and that's the other arm. Plenty of weeds growing. So I thought you could have a better look when I was actually putting the beds together. You'll see I just got my bobcat man to dump the earth, and then I measured it out, and so we had to move it a bit because I was a little bit off with my measurements. But that was all good. And also I got him to place the soybean bale into the soil to just help get it to be activated with microbes. And then just popping around the corner, that's the view almost of the full arena and the stables. I was going to use a quarter of the roof and put my water tank here, but it all just became too difficult. As you can see, that's how I drew it up, but in actual fact I put the 2 water tanks together and linked them together, as you can see down at that end, and it meant I didn't have to fuss around with the guttering. So there you go. This is my regenerative plan. So like I said, I'm going to plant out the northern side of the market garden and set up the irrigation work out how much food I can produce just to feed the family, and if there's anything left over, then it will go to my neighbours. And also, this is the most important bit of any business, is I've actually got to create demand before supply. So as I'm growing the food for my family, I will take it to local pubs and restaurants and just get a feel if there is a market for what I want to produce, and also give them a taster as well. So there you go. That's my regenerative plan and the market garden. All is very, very exciting.